Today, we're diving into a conversation that every cleaning business owner needs to hear. The Great Reset isn't coming, it's here now. Artificial intelligence, AI, is reshaping how businesses operate, how customers buy, how teams communicate, and how companies compete. And there's more. For carpet cleaning professionals and restoration contractors as well, this shift isn't theoretical. It's practical. It affects pricing, marketing, hiring, customer service, documentation, and daily workflows. So today we're going to sit down with a business coach who has his finger on the pulse of what's happening in the industry, someone with his eyes wide open who works directly with companies to talk about what this reset really means. It's my pleasure to welcome back regular guest John Clendenning. This topic today, we're going to go a bit long on this episode. I know you and I are good at the 5 minute programs, but you and I talked recently about this great reset and the concerns as a former business owner, cleaning business owner, and now a coach talking to companies. Give us an overview. What are we going to talk about today? What's going on? What's good about it? What's scary about it?
Yeah, good question. So part of the reason why we talked about this is there's a rolling freight train coming down the tracks in front of or behind us right now. A tsunami. Picture whatever your picture is. I've been hearing from clients and people in the industry that have been quiet for years that are going, what's going on? And I mean, more so 2 weeks ago, more so, like than it was 2 weeks before that, than it was 2 weeks before that. It is compounding because they're all feeling something, a slowdown, a market shift. There is a sense of going on, some kind of an idea of it. Some don't. And my little message or my little joke before we hopped on was, I might sound like the guy that bought toilet paper in February of 2020 that, that everyone went, whatever. And 3 weeks later, you wish you'd bought toilet paper, because the entire world shut down. And just picking up clues. I'm not the only one. You can put your ear to the ground. But if anybody made it through the 2008-9 recession, the great collapse, where businesses lost a lot of their customer base who were either scared but still employed or laid off, all of that kind of stuff. So you lost sort of that middle ground. And you also watched as more cleaners entered the industry because people they get laid off or furloughed or anything like that, they need something to do. They have 401ks, they have equity in their home, and they're trying to find their next. And if their industry is quiet, middle management, white collar, whatever it is, right? The factory, whatever, there's going to be a shift into franchising, which is going crazy right now. And we all saw it as well. I had 70 new competitors show up between 2008 and 2010, at the last recession. At the same time, the market softened by about 40% less people out there. And we just doubled down on our marketing we met more people, we did more stuff, we worked the system. But yeah, this is real. This is now, but it's different because this great replacement of AI is also changing, word of mouth. And we'll talk about this as well. It's changing everything all at once, faster than anything else has changed anything in my study of history and society. So,
John, I think you've heard some ask the question, is this just a slowdown or is it
mhm.
something bigger than that? So, because I used to own my cleaning company as well. You have. There are slowdowns. There are good
Yeah.
seasons and bad. Is this different? Talk about that.
Yeah. So I think when we're dealing with like higher interest rates, there's like when you get into the macroeconomics, and again, I'm just a carpet cleaner. I didn't even finish high school. I went on the road with a band for a while and then started cleaning businesses and stuff like that. This is all just sort of like what keeps me awake at night, what I've studied on my own over years. And when you've got, after 2008-9, there was the last 20 years of free money, like zero, almost near zero interest rates. People could build houses, buy fences, do this, do that. And get their carpets cleaned and have a discretionary income and all of that kind of stuff. And you could stand in front of Google Ads. Groupon showed up then, Google Ads showed up then, Facebook ads showed up and then, and all of them were sort of like a little bit of a blue ocean before they became saturated and expensive. All of that's kind of cool, but you're targeting people that, on a factory job or a middle class income could own a house, have an RV, have the, two cars in the driveway, put the kids through college and all of that kind of stuff because money was cheap. It was all that. That's gone. Like we know that. Like it's the world, like interest rates have gone up, the price of everything has gone up, and reset more than anything else like that back to what it was, my parents paid for stuff and how the parents and grandparents bought and paid and we're not in the 70s where the interest you could still buy a house but you're 13-15% interest per year and stuff like can't even imagine now the houses you wouldn't even be able to afford it. So this is now that again. This isn't just a blip that's going to go down. This is that feeling, that gut feeling that I don't know if my job's going to be replaced. Just kind of thinking about it. I'm hearing some stuff. I don't know if we can afford that trip this year. There's these little creaks that are happening in the polls and society, all of that kind of stuff, to the vast middle class. At the exact same time, we call it a K-shaped economy because at the exact same time, the wealthy, golf course road, those types of people are richer than they've ever been before. Gold went up to $5,000 down to about four now, or whatever, but $5,000 there a couple of weeks ago from under 2,000, like 2 years ago. Stocks, everything. So though that money class is the invested in the markets and stuff like that, the markets have taken off, and they're quieting down right now as they normally do this time of year and stuff like that in an election year, especially. But the middle class is making more and more decisions on their money, on their discretionary money, which affects cleaning companies and maid services and pressure washers and all that kind of stuff. And that's affecting a lot. And if people are starting to lay off at offices because they can replace an entire accounting wing with some AI tools built into QuickBooks and built into Xero and all this kind of stuff, then do we need the office cleaned as often as well? So I do see this cascading and affecting as all of these models get better and better. But also the one other piece is we don't ask our friends as much as we ask our AI buddies anymore. And that's a huge another shift that people are missing as well, the word of mouth piece of it.
So, John, I'm a cleaning business owner, do some restoration as well. I do great work. I have loyal customers. I'm not sure if I need AI because I'm visible, we're busy. What's going to happen
Yeah.
to me in the short term and long term?
Yeah. So imagine this. If you're the best known brand, you're the best, like your brands are important now. AI targets brands, not keywords and tactics, right? So AI is trying to be a real person going, hey, who's really well known and talked about out there in the marketplace? Grandpa ran carpet cleaning businesses, not mine, maybe not yours, but dads if you're my age, grandpas if you're some of the younger crowd. They were also the best carpet cleaner, the ones that are the busiest were the most known in the community at events they stopped into businesses, all like that was just, you didn't have the internet, you didn't have that kind of stuff. They stayed in touch with the database. They mailed, they learned the mailbox works and hey, it's been a couple months, are you interested in our spring program? And they didn't send one mail, they'd pick up the phone and call and chase after it and stuff like that. All the stuff that we learned from people like Joe Polish and Howard Partridge back in the day and Dan Kennedy to run our carpet cleaning businesses was sort of like, hey, do it the old fashioned way. And by the way, there's this new internet thing coming as well, right? So if you're running good right now, you might be one of those really well-known brands that people still keep in top of mind. But picture this. I just talked to two little stories right here. I talked to my buddy, best friend of mine, Brad. He works in a auto parts plant. He started as a tool and die guy, worked his way all the way up to production manager and project management. And he's now actually moving to a whole new company entirely because Otto's doing this, and he's gone into a nuclear facility, a whole new lease on life at just over 50. And I said to Brad, I got a question for you. This is me thinking AI. I'm your buddy that owned carpet cleaning companies and maid services and janitorial for the as long as you've ever known me. If you guys spilled wine on the carpet on Valentine's Day, would you call me? And he goes, no, I wouldn't. I go, why not? I just asked Chat. And I said, cool. And if Chat gave you advice on how to take it out, like club soda and a towel and blah, like all the stuff we know, right? And it still left a bit of a stain, would you ask me who you should hire to do the carpet cleaning? He goes, maybe if it gave me two or three choices, I might reach out to you, but probably not anymore. And that's my best friend who knows I ran the cleaning companies for years. So the point I'm trying to get at is when I first realized I needed to stay in touch with my database and market my database was early days, 95, 96. I pulled into the driveway of one customer and right across the street was AAA carpet cleaning at a customer I'd already cleaned for. And I was livid. And I went back and told Kelly and said, you know, shit, this pisses me off. I cleaned that customer like a year ago and they didn't, right? And she got all feisty and mad, but did it in a polite way and called, hi, Mrs. Smith. I noticed John just happened to be in the neighborhood, noticed that you had AAA in the driveway and was just wondering why you didn't call us back. Was it something we did? Oh, it wasn't you guys last time? From that day forward, I mailed our database every single month. We sent a newsletter, we sent mailing, we said, like, I mean, I touched our database 24, 30, like our times a year because I'm like, oh, no, that's never happening again. She went back to the yellow pages and thought she'd found the same company. So we can't be arrogant or egotistical to think that they just love us and remember us. They don't. That's story number one that's always been really, you can get new customers. You're chasing leads and new customers. You and I both know that that is not the foundation for a great business. It's the second, third, fourth, fifth cleaning and the referrals that make all the money, not the first time you go and clean for them because a pay-per-click ad cost you $55 to get the phone call. You know, you book half of them, so it costs $110 to buy the customer. Your average job is $300. You made a 3-to-1 ROI on the front end, and you can stay afloat. You can stay afloat, but you make a 20-to-1 ROI on your mailings every single year back to that list, and then they come back on the reminders, and they come back more often. Now you've built technician number 2, technician number 3. You've built the company, right? So there's that. The other little story that I tell a lot is, so Jeff, say you screwed up with the wife and you're on the way home and you go, damn, screwed up the wife last night, Chat, to your GPS that now has AI in it, which is, it's not just a dumb GPS. Can you route me to the nearest flower shop? I need to get something. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I think we need to get the driveway pressure washed. Who should I call? You didn't ask any. That's what we're doing now. 1 year ago to January 1st, it was about 1% of search were people asking on chat GPTs, on Google with the, they were still typing carpet cleaner near me, right? Now they're going, I got this problem. Who should I call? They're having a conversation and the map pack doesn't show up on ChatGPT doesn't show up at all. They're just having these long conversations and they're getting referred by somebody. That was about 30% at Christmas. They're saying it might have doubled already by the first month and a half. We're at February 18th today of this recording. It might be as high as 50, 60% of people actually, it's that fast of a technology. Once somebody starts chatting to their chat GPT or their Grok or their whatever LLM they're using, or even their Google Gemini's become amazing. Once they start talking to it and see the quality of the answers, they're not searching keywords anymore. They're having conversations. They're speaking into their device. And it's coming back with full answers, either by voice and it's giving them recommendations. And it isn't the guy that's ranked number 1 in Google Maps that gets the recommendation. It's the one that has a conversation all over the internet. And if you know one of those two people, because you saw the truck and they were the guy that flipped hamburgers or pancakes at the charity barbecue beside you, and you go, no, that's the one I want. Yeah, call them. And the phone will ring and you're on a conversation.
This sounds like the past.
It is. It's grandpa all over. Again, as I said, we're telling you, you've got to be a real business again. There was a period of time where you could sort of hide behind a volume of leads. When Groupon first came out, I don't know if you remember it. I don't like you guys had
Oh,
articles and
yes.
feedbacks all about Groupon, and it's like, oh, we could get 200 jobs in a month. Like we get all these people booking in. We have to give up to a 50% discount originally, and then we have to give half of it to Groupon, and then they only pay us over a 12-week window. There were franchise networks that told everybody to jump into Groupon. It's the new great thing, and within 6 months, so many franchises have gone bankrupt. They said not allowed. It's banned. If you're in Groupon, you've broken your franchise agreements. I was in some of these franchises. I know that, and I spoke at the conferences of the rest of them. Groupon was this great way of generating leads of people that wanted discounts. That means the next time they want a cleaning, if you're the $99 three-room and a hall guy, they want the $89 three-room and a hall guy. Then they want the $79 three-room and a hall guy. When the good companies, the great companies in those marketplaces are getting $400 or $500 for three rooms and a hall and adding the couch on when they're there. And in the exact same markets, just different customers.
Yeah, the Groupon thing was interesting because that was the focus was you do this job almost for free, but it's going to give you a customer for life.
Yeah.
Didn't
And it
quite
doesn't.
work. Didn't quite
No,
work that
and
way.
then you didn't follow up with your customers, so you hope that they love you again next time and remember you. Like my story of the AAA in the driveway across the street. Unless you stay in touch, unless you create systems in your business that we all learned how to do grunt work systems. Now we can do it with AI. Now we can do it with tools and stuff like that. But you still need to be a bit in the mailbox. Emails only get open about 30% of the time. Text messages, yeah, you can send a text message to your database once, twice. But if you send a text message 5 times, the number of people that are going to go stop and they're off your list is gone. Like, say, for example, your dentist. Your dentist sends you a message and says, Jeff, you got your dentist appointment tomorrow. Hey, Jeff, your appointment is this afternoon. Hi, Jeff, your appointment's in an hour. You're going to go, hey, thanks. I'm okay with this. I'm not going to turn that off. That feels right. If all of a sudden in the, 2 months later, it's National Smile Month, Jeff, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go, stop. And everybody's going to do that to the carpet cleaner as well. So you've got to treat texting very lightly. It does get opened almost 100% of the time, where emails is about 30. So assume most of your emails never got seen, but you have to treat texting gently. It's much better to do voicemail, ringless voicemail, and leave them a message, right? That, hey, by the way, I'm just following up on that email or that letter I sent. Live is even better, real people having real conversations. But yeah, if you're trying to hide behind a fully automated business and now AI voice answers my phones and all this kind of stuff, you'll realize that the people that put the humans back in the loop use AI and automation to make the office run simpler, to, all that kind of stuff. But put the human back in the loop, have Nancy at the front desk answering the phones,
Mhm.
and calling people back and making sure they're happy with the cleaning, and you will stand out like a sore thumb in a good way in the marketplace.
Okay, now let's talk about this. Old school marketing, old school business is
Yeah.
coming back.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Yes.
So that can't be all of it though. You have to blend that with AI, which you touched on.
Yeah.
So for those watching, finish this sentence, John. To survive all of this and to thrive, I need to, what do they do?
Happy customer stories of your jobs that you do. Say you went out and did a pet urine cleaning a town over, right? Your website has to tell AI, your website has to be built deeply. It has to have the coding that AI can pick up, the stories in the right way. AI is a little bit dumber than the Google algorithm bots are as far as absorbing that type of content. So you have to spoon feed it a little bit more. But it's not just looking at your website, it's also looking on social media. It's also going to Reddit. Think of it as a college intern that came in and said, you're going, hey, by the way, I need new tires for my truck. My tire guy closed up shop, whatever. I need somebody else. Can you find it for me? I got a podcast to do with John. Right? By the time you're back, she's not just going to go tire shop near me. She's going to go, I want to get Jeff the best tires. I'm going to check with some of my friends on Facebook, on Reddit, on TikTok. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to, when I do find a company, I'm going to see what other people are saying about them. I'm not just going to read reviews. And she's going to be all excited, like I just sounded. And she's going to go back and, Jeff, I've got 3 choices for you. This one's a little more expensive, but my gosh, people love them. This one's kind of and middle of the road. And this one, if you want the budget, but they kind of got mixed bag online, not reviews, mixed bag online. You're going to decide, you know what? I buy tires maybe once every 5, 6 years. Let's go with the best, get them on there, right? And you chose that. I might choose the middle of the road because I'm a little bit more thrifty, right? So, but they just went and did that whole search. Well, how is that search? How is AI doing that search? AI is doing that search because there are stories in the marketplace. So you have a great website with great coding. You have a page for every one of your services. You have a page for every one of your service areas, deeply coded, like lots of content, lots of the way it's going to absorb the information. And then you have stories about customers in that market. So if you're a town over, you're in Virginia Beach and it's in Chesapeake, and you have a story about your tile and grout cleaning. You have a story, a couple of those. You have a story about your carpet cleaning, and it ties back to your carpet cleaning page. And then you posted those on social media. You shared them into some of the Facebook groups. Again, it sounds like a lot of work, but nowadays we can make this automated a little bit easier. But you want to be able to have this real connection, this real authentic trust to stand out when AI can equalize everybody else. Everybody can write a blog post with ChatGPT now. So if everybody can write a blog post, who's going to get picked as the best blog post? The one that's real, again, that tells real stories in real cities and real topics. That becomes your unique strategic advantage online and offline because it's real offline as well.
Back in the day, successful companies would do much of what you described.
Yeah.
The communication, the storytelling, the website focus, all the things that are fundamental. And they
Yeah.
might hire a marketing manager to do that.
Yeah.
What we're talking about now is kind of the same thing, but AI is going to be that marketing manager, that operations manager with opinions.
Yes.
So, how does someone build that? I know that's a big
Yeah.
question, but how does because our average viewer today, John, is
Yeah.
I'm gonna call you Podcast John. Great background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our
Thanks.
average viewer is going to be a business owner, maybe a little older, just
Yeah.
saying it could be. They're like,
Yep.
how do I do this? Where do I find this? So
Yeah.
can you encapsulate that in just a couple of thoughts?
Yeah. So it really just depends on your level. Like there are a lot of cleaning business owners that just happen to own a business. So you're the guy out in the truck and you're going, oh my God, that sounds like a lot. And you and I both know that, I've got pictures of my kids sitting folding letters in the wintertime while we're watching a hockey game on the dining room table before we got to the level we could automate that and send that out to somebody else like as well. So it's sort of time or money. You have one or the other, right? So if you've got the the money to invest, you can build these systems. You can hire people that can build like, an AI system for you or an operation system, stuff like that, where it learns about you and your business, like interview. You build it well. It knows your business, your customers, your competitors. It's called a master prompt or a master game plan. You build that into an AI system. Now, everything you want it to do from that point forward, you write from that perspective, right? So, or like if it's a tweet, if it's an email, if it's a series, it's a system, you say, hey, I'd like to build this spring cleaning program, not a letter, but a series of things. Well, now you need to know what that is. In the old days, you and I had to study for hours, jump on training calls, meet with Joe Polish, do all this kind of stuff, and then try and figure out how to write it and get samples. Nowadays, you go, I found that here, I've got these things. This is what I kind of want it to look like. Ask me any questions. Let's solve this. So you need somebody to take you from here, don't know anything. I haven't even taken a picture of my fridge and say, what can I eat for dinner? That's a good starting point with ChatGPT. And I need to all of a sudden get to there. You hire somebody to help you because you can implement that and start building that system in your place. The guys that are in the truck right now and don't have the money for a print house, that they would rather do it on their photocopier or their printer or go to Kinko's with a file. That's sort of like you need to be part of a club or so. You need to be part of like what you and I did, join marketing groups and join coaching programs and stuff like that. You need to understand that, hey, can I actually do this tonight? Get it ready and send it off to a printer, pick it up on my way between jobs and get that folded and stuffed and put in an envelope by this guy at the mailing house, the guy at Minuteman Press, or my kids, for an allowance. Because depending on the size of your list, the fact is you still need to do it. You can't just go, nope, I just want to run an email and nobody answered my email, right? So it is a matter of where you fit in, where your sophistication is, and what you're trying to solve. and there's an answer for every level. You just need to have that conversation with somebody who knows what they're doing. We're consulting with all of our clients now, going, hey, if you're 750,000, a million, 5 million a year carpet cleaning company, you need an audit and an AI implementation, right? And we're just going to take over some systems and build it, make it better, and get back to doing the things you've stopped doing because you didn't need to do them for the last decade. You just stood in front of a pipeline of cheap ads. For the guys that are doing 150, 250,000 a year in a truck, that kind of idea, you need to be, hey, I don't necessarily, I can do a little bit of this. How do you help me with that? Oh, cool. Let's get the whole marketing campaign figured out in an hour tonight. Like not weeks of us studying like you and I did and flipping through guides and waiting for the next mailing to come next month from Howard before we go, oh, Howard taught us that tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what is that? Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, correct me if I'm wrong, you choose the AI tool of choice or more than one. Maybe it's
Yeah.
Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT. Pay for the service. Would you think that's important?
Yeah, I would say everybody should upgrade to the $20 a month.
Yep.
They pretty much you can make it's got a little more privacy and a lot more run rate.
And then if you're not sure what to do, you can ask those questions of
Yeah.
the AI and it will learn who you are, your business. It'll tell you what to do next.
Yeah, it's gonna take AI starts like this. I know everything in the world. What do you want? And it slowly chunks down. A lot of people, if they've used AI to ask them questions, go, I don't like the answers. I don't think that's really working. I don't really think that that's going to take over the world. Hasn't understood it's no longer prompt engineering, it's context engineering. You give it the context. So there is sort of like is as you start to learn a little bit, everybody should be learning even in their 50s and 60s and 70s. This is like when the iPads came out and my mom and grandma and all that, I'm not touching that thing. And within a year they're showing looking at pictures of the babies and they're having like a FaceTime call on their iPad, right? This is that moment where everybody should especially in business, learn a little bit of how to use it, be the leader in the company, find the people, the programs and the people that will start training you as well, guiding you because you can go that direction and that direction. And we can all jump on YouTube and learn anything, but some people still pay. Like I could jump on YouTube and learn how to take landscape photography eventually. But there's also a fellow out there from BC that runs a landscape photography coaching program. And the people that really want to know how to take landscape photography and work out the apertures and the bugs and stuff like that don't need to watch 500 YouTube videos. They need to figure out what the next step is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next step and solve it now. Right. So yes, you can. And if you're good at it, keep asking those questions and realize it'll hallucinate and you've got to pull it back in or find people, work with somebody and programs and stuff like that. That's like, hey, let's just show you how to use some of this stuff. Let's remind you what marketing used to look like. Let's write a script that sounds like your voice, but with the right neurolinguistic programming and psychology in it, that you're not just saying words, but you're saying the right words to change the person's false beliefs on the call to decide why they should pay twice as much for your carpet cleaning than the $99 guy they saw the ad for. You just try and say, how much for 3 rooms in a hall? Yeah, well, we start at $250. Never mind, click. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate you asking that question. Quick question first. What research have you done on us before this call? Now you know that you start with that. That's called a pattern interrupt in the world of neurolinguistic programming. Tony Robbins, all those guys. You pause their brain for a second, got them, and you go, cool. So tell me a little bit more about those areas. How big is your home? Spots and stains. Now you start to sound a little bit different than anybody else they called. You're actually trying to triage them first. You go, cool. So yeah. Okay. So tell you what, while I'm figuring out an estimate here for you, can't give you an exact price and nobody should, because if somebody's quoting you on the phone, they don't know what it looks like. They don't know the size of it. They don't know what your stains are. And cleaning is a function of time and materials. So they're guessing. They're either going to overcharge or undercharge. What we do is we'll give you a range and we, based on which one of our service packages you want, stuff like that. While I'm figuring that out for you, let me tell you why most people who call choose us to clean their carpets. That's another psychological moment. You don't understand scripting. You've just doubled the number of people that book on the phone. Mm-hmm. You don't understand scripting. You need more leads.
Yep. So all this is great information. One thing I like to point out is your AI tool that's going to help you to do all this, to build the scripts, to do everything you mentioned.
Yeah.
doesn't get offended, doesn't get mad. You can tell to
Yeah.
redo it. It doesn't have a pulse like your real person assistant.
Yep.
So use it, tell it what to do, it'll learn
Yep.
and get it done.
Yes.
Well, John, we're about out of time. If we missed anything, this is your opportunity. Final words of advice.
Yeah. I guess so. One thing to understand with your AI in general is treat it as the assistant, not the expert, right? It is, you can get it to go do stuff, but the human needs to still be in the loop and guide and make sure it's right. So we still have accountability, right? That's one thing I always like to tell people. It's not like to take over stuff. There's people that go into their AI and ask about medicine and this and that. And even if it gives the warning, they go all of a sudden, I'm stopping this, I'm doing that. And it's like, we all both know that's like, walking downtown and, somebody's in a sharp suit and you ask them, hey, should I take this medicine for this? Yeah, absolutely. And it turns out the guy was, just came from the Salvation Army and put a sharp suit on and he had no clue, right? You don't know. So AI is like that. You got to make sure that you're going to be using it right. But the other thing I want to just say clearly is, I guess, we've really got to kind of get the point across that this isn't just a bad year, right? I don't, again, I don't want to be Chicken Little. I don't want to be the guy that bought toilet paper, but I'm kind of the guy that bought toilet paper in February. I didn't, but this is what I'm feeling. We can't really just wait it out. It's a structural reset. Platforms have changed. Customer behavior is changing right in front of our eyes. AI is changing how work get done. Everything we just said about, you can use it to do stuff. So now you could have a first mover advantage until everybody's the same again, right? So you do have to be thinking of the same isn't 5 years from now. The same might be July. So cleaners who survive and grow through this won't be the cheapest because the low end people are doing less and less these days. We feel that, we know that they might not even be the busiest, but they'll be the best known, most trusted, most visible at a decent price with options for higher end people that want to go more. So you're not in the cleaning business. As Dan Kennedy told us, as Joe Polish told us, you're in the marketing and positioning business of the services and brand you offer. That's the business you've always been in. Now you have to feel it. If you always thought you're a cleaner, marketing pre-sales. Marketing is what gets the phone to ring. Marketing what's get people to get back. Marketing, even those scripts on the phone, that's a version of marketing. Your logos, your uniforms, all of that is marketing. Marketing is what gets people to see you online, offline. Even if the landscape changes, you have to know how to market in the new landscape, but you need to build brand that AI recognizes and that humans trust. We have to do that again. You can't rely on hope, price, or yesterday's playbook. The market will decide for you, and the next 24 months is widening the gap. So cleaners who lean in now, they got a first mover advantage. This is the moment we stop being the carpet cleaner and start becoming that real business that grandpa, dad, all that kind of stuff ran and had to run. We're now becoming, we have to lean into that. If we're just chasing leads, even if we do a great job and they love us and we smell nice and we look nice and we do a good job, if we're just chasing new leads and 50, 60% of your week, your month is not repeat and referral clients, you got to get back to that point because that's what grows companies.